Alright, and now that we've looked at some of the basic concepts of CCK, we're going to go in and do some hands-on. First thing, I'm going to visit the Administer, Content Management, Content Types page, which we've already looked at before, and just take a look at this page before we turn on the Content module. Currently we have the ability to edit and delete these types and change some settings in them, but we don't actually have the ability to add any new fields. Once we turn on the Content module, that'll change. So let's visit the Modules page, Administer, Site Building, Modules. And then within the CCK section, we can turn on the Content module and necessary fields so that we can add different fields to any different content type. So we need to turn on the Content module, which is the central module of CCK, which provides the necessary functions for all these other modules that are dependent on it. We'll turn on File field for uploading a file, Node reference, which makes it possible for one piece of content to reference another piece of content, the Number module, which allows us to enter in integers and decimal values and then store them as numbers in the database, Option widgets, which lets us define select lists, radio buttons, and checkboxes. The Text module, which lets us create basic text fields and text areas within a node form. And then finally, User reference, which allows us to reference a user on the site through a field on the node form. And then once we have selected all those modules, we'll save the configuration. And now CCK is installed, we'll go back to that content types page under Administer, Content Management, Content Types. And you'll see here, this screen has actually changed since last time we were on it. We have a Fields tab up here that'll show us all the fields that are currently on the site. It's currently empty because we haven't yet added any fields. And it also gives us this ability to manage fields within each one of our types. So within the job posting type, I'm going to click Manage Fields, and we can see CCK gives us the ability not only to add new fields down below, but also to order some of the fields that are already on the form, such as taxonomy and menu settings. I can take them and rearrange them on the form and click Save. And that's actually affected the node form when we go back and try to create a new job. The taxonomy will now be below the below the job description. But for adding a new field, I'm going to add a new field for salary. First thing you need to choose is the label that'll be shown on the node form, and then a machine name for what will be saved as in the database. This is all lowercase, letters, numbers, or underscores only. And then, like Jeff said before, the first thing I need to choose is I need to choose the data type. So for a salary field, I've got a couple different options here, because I could add a decimal if I were to store, say, like the cents within the salary, or I could choose a float, or I could choose an integer, or I could choose a text field. For all of these, it's good to take into consideration what it is that you're actually needing to store. We're probably only going to store whole numbers, so we'll actually just select an integer for the type of data we want to choose. It's also worth noting, after you've chosen a field, the list of options on the right side changes. And so if this were to say be a, we'll say a file, for example, file is a good example, you get a different set of examples, or a different set of widgets that you can choose once you've chosen file type. So I'm going to go back to integer, and we'll see it change again, and I'll choose a text field for entering in my integer into the form. Click Save to continue, and then you get to configure that particular field. We'll add some help text, such as enter a yearly salary. And then we get to choose whether or not the field is required. We say it will be. The number of values, we'll probably come back to this later, but there's only one salary available for this job, so we'll leave it at the single value. A minimum and maximum, these are options that are only available for number types, so if we would have chosen text, these wouldn't have been available to us. And options like prefix and suffix. This is a good place to enter in, say, like the currency you're using, so dollars, and we'll put just dollars. And then for the suffix, you might say what kind of dollars those are, and here I'll put a space and then USD, so that way there's a space after the field, and then US dollars. And we'll save those field settings. Alright, and now that I've added the salary field, I might want to put it up someplace a little bit higher in the form, so I'll drag up salary into the middle of the form and save. And now that salary field is in the middle of the form. Let's go ahead and go and create a piece of job content to see what this form looks like. So create content, job posting, and we'll create a position for a slacker at the university. Give it a description, and then down below we can enter in a salary field. Salary value, $15,000 a year for the salary position, and give it a tag of just easy. And then save this post, and there we go. We have our new piece of job content with a salary field entered in, and next we'll go in and add in some more fields to this job piece of content.